A congregation in Victoria, Texas, approached Congregation Beth Israel, knowing that we have members in our congregation who have historical roots to the congregation in Victoria. And members of the Victoria congregation were concerned about their future, not only how long the congregation would endure, but what would become of the cemetery, who would maintain it, who would officiate on the very rare occasions when a funeral service would need to be held. So they reached out to us and asked if we could create a relationship by creating a memo of understanding to be sure that in the future, if something were needed, could they count on us to provide rabbinic leadership? The answer was a quick yes, because there is a relationship, but also a great sense of duty. JCLP was the convening body. And when the memo of understanding came together, the leaders of JCLP asked me if I would also serve on the board. I agreed to, not because I had time, but because I believed in the mission of JCLP. If it worked for us, there are other congregations who, like our own, could be a leader and a provider of support so that congregations like the one in Victoria could feel connected, could feel cared for, and therefore feel confident about whatever years might follow for their own members in the life of their community. There are members of the congregation who have roots in Victoria, in Galveston, in Wharton, and other small towns around Houston. And just recently, one couple approached me and said, what can we do for a congregation in Galveston, Texas that needs support? And I said, have I got an answer for you? The JCLP is the place to reach because they can provide you appropriate means to support the congregation without spending money or other energy in the wrong places. The end of the story is that this couple found a very meaningful contact within JCLP and have begun to feel that their Jewish commitment is being spent well. The role of JCLP enables us to ask the right questions, to find meaningful answers, and not to do for a congregation, but to do with a congregation what they might see themselves needing. The memo of understanding between us and the Victoria congregation lays out that when the congregation is no longer, its assets will be placed within a trust, a foundation within the Greater Houston's Federation. And when the congregation has a need to maintain the cemetery or for any service within the cemetery, the congregation that I serve will provide a rabbi or other support to provide those services, whatever they may be. And the expenses will be paid from their foundation gift to the Federation. It gives an enormous amount of comfort and confidence to the congregation that even as the congregation might close in the future, they will never in perpetuity forego their responsibility to their ancestors.